Hi guys, thank you all for joining the session. I hope I am audible to you guys. Okay, okay, got it. So before we start the session, let me tell you some of the ground rules of this webinar. You all will be on mute mode during the session. You will be unmuted for the question answer round after the session. In case somebody wants to ask the question in between of the session, you have the option of typing a question in the chat window. Somebody is asking for the session time, it is going to start. So this webinar is being recorded, and we'll be, sharing the recording over the YouTube on our YouTube channel, and you can access that recording from our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll be sharing the link with you all over the chat window. So my name is Rishika Umar, and I am the marketing consultant for DevLabs Alliance. I'll, give you a quick introduction of our company, DevLabs Alliance, like who we are and what we do. So DevLabs Alliance is the leading provider of technical training and consulting services. So when I say technical training, here I will name some of our top trending trainings and workshops. Number one is SDN and automation, robotics, process automation, data science and machine learning, DevOps, blockchain, performance testing, and soft skills also. We have presence across various continents, Asia, Canada, USA. Also, we are having very rich pool of IT professionals, consultants, and advisors in the respective segments. If you guys want more information, you can, visit our website, and you'll get lot of stuff out there on our website. Moving towards the next slide. So why you should choose us? Why you should choose Develops Alliance? That's a very big question. While choosing a training partner, while choosing a consulting company for yourself to upskill yourself. So number one is practical workshops with zero theory. Our sessions are completely hands-on with use cases and assignment oriented. Number two, we have limited batch size of, somewhere close to around 15 to 20 people in a batch so that you get the focused attention. Our trainers are subject matter experts and have real-time industry experience. Number four is, last but not the least, latest course curriculum. Our courses curriculum is designed as per the industry standard, keeping in mind. Next. So this is going to be very important slide for those who are actually wanting to enroll for the course as soon as possible, or either today or tomorrow itself, because we are sharing a coupon code which is applicable for the 10% instant discount on the course fees, which is available out there on our website. So you apply that coupon. This coupon code is valid till tomorrow. So if you guys, plan to go for the course immediately, you can, apply that coupon and get the instant discount on the already discounted fees. So that 10% discount is only applicable for the webinar attendees. Our next batch, as you can see on this slide, our next batch is going to start from 20th of May, and it will be the weekend classes only. Timings you can see out there. So these things are available on our website also. You can check out there. So coming to the today's offer, so basically, people who want the certificate of this webinar participation, they can, we are sharing this link with you over the chat window. You guys click on that link, fill up a form. Just a basic information is required: your name, phone number, email ID, and the country. Nothing else. Just the basic information fill out, and you get the certificate of this webinar participation from our side within 48 hours of time. And secondly, we are also providing a free tutorial to you guys. So you need to fill the basic information, and you can, go on that link, fill up that form, and you can download the tutorial there itself. So these two links we are sharing over the chat window with you. You guys can click on that, and it will just take 2-3 minutes of your time, and you'll get the certificate of participation on this webinar. If you guys want that, you can fill up that form and get yourself registered for the certificate of participation and free tutorial download. Will not take much of your time. I'll hand it over to my trainer Ayaz. Ayaz, you can take this forward and show the agenda. Ayaz, you there?
I think there is some issue in Ayaz network. I think he is rejoined.
Okay, okay. Let me call him. Ayaz, I have forwarded you the link. आप उस लिंक पे ज्वाइन करो. आपने ज्वाइन ही नहीं किया वेबिनार. Guys, our trainer is joining. Meanwhile, you can click on the link and fill on the basic information form, and we'll get your certificate issued to you within 48 hours of your time. And secondly, if you guys want the free PDF, free tutorial, you can click on the further link. We are sharing it over the chat window. Just a moment, I'll share it with you guys.
Hello.
Yeah, Ayaz, you there?
Yes, I think I have one more invite, and there a lot of candidate is waiting. I was there in that meeting only. Can you check because I don't see much participation here.
Just a
So
moment. Yeah, Ayaz, can we start now?
Yeah, we can get started.
Sure.
All right. Thanks everyone, and apologies for the confusion. So there was some confusion like about the meeting invite. So we should be good now. We can get started. So thanks everyone for joining today's evening. My name is Ayaz. Basically, I'm having around 11 years of experience in the field of test automation and framework development. Uh, Also having 5 6 years of experience in corporate training. So today we're gonna talk about the automation. So we will go through. So you would be navigating through the slides, right? Let me share my screen so that I can just get going. So let me share. Just hold on. All right. So hope you guys can see my screen. All right. So there are some rules that we're gonna follow. So everyone will be muted during the session. So we'll have a Q&A at the end. So then you will be unmuted, and then we can discuss about your question. Uh, in between, if you have any question, what you can do is you can just put in the chat. So I can just go through the chat, and in between I'll try to answer those things. So what we're gonna discuss today is we're gonna talk about uh, automation. Automation using Java. So that's our agenda. So into this webinar, we're gonna discuss about the pain point that we have in manual testing. Then what could be the benefit that we can take from the automation? What return of investment we can give through the automation into the project? Then we're going to talk about the most famous automation tool. Although we have thousands of automation tool, but we're going to talk about the most famous automation tool, that is Selenium. And we can talk about the other tools as well. Maybe we can have a quick comparison of Selenium with other tool. Then we'll talk about the API testing. What is the benefit of API testing? What tools we can use for API testing? And why should we learn if we are trying to learn the automation? Why should we learn Java? We have other programming language as well. Then we will talk about what are the current market situation that we have, what are the career opportunities that we have. As you guys have heard that we are in the recession where a lot of people are losing their jobs. Uh, you must have heard about the things like XYZ companies are laying off. So what is the opportunity that you have right now? So we're going to talk about that as well, and I'll just show you one demo where I'll create a project from scratch, and then we'll try to see how we can do the automation, right? So uh, let's get started. I hope you guys are from different background. You, if I say different background, so I'm just targeting to those who are working in the who are already working and working as a manual tester and wants to uh, groom, wants to skill himself or herself and just want to switch the job or get the project in the same company in the automation. Also, we should have some of the candidates who are just fresh graduates from different colleges. They just want to understand where we should go, what we should learn to get the job in the market, and we should have some of the audience that already working on the automation and they wants to learn some other automation tool. So I'll talk for all the perspective. Uh, so let's get started. We're gonna talk about what is the problem with manual testing today we have and why we should learn the automation, why should we do the automation. So I remember when I started my career in 2012. At that time, when I was in college, honestly, I haven't heard about the testing. I mean, I haven't heard about the testing, although I have studied in software engineering about the testing. But uh, I was talking to my seniors, I was talking to the people who are working in different companies. So they told that, hey, I'm developing this, hey, I'm doing that, hey, I'm supporting this. So I honestly I haven't heard about the testing, and I was not aware that the testing is so. I mean, testing has so many opportunities. It is a huge area. It has a lot of things, but luckily, unluckily, I got the project. I got a line in a project after my college as a manual tester. Then I got to know that hey, it is an area where we have to do a lot of things. Then I heard about that whatever I'm doing through manually, it could be automated. Then I started doing research. I started asking from my colleagues, from my seniors. Then I got to know that there is a tool called QTP. So people are doing the automation through QTP. And in 2012, Selenium was very latest and very few people was using that Selenium. So yeah, so so I was doing the manual testing and I got bored. Honestly, I was in a project where we have an e-commerce application and that e-commerce application has like Flipkart or Amazon. So they were selling some product through online and I I start getting bored doing same kind of things where I have to write the manual test cases, execute those test cases, take the screenshot, attach those screenshot, and do those stuff, right? So for me, it was very painful, and I was not learning anything new. I mean, I was doing same kind of repeated work every day. So what that I feel that I'm not learning anything. I'm doing same kind of things while the developer are doing the development, right? They are providing the solution of the different problems they are doing through HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or whatever the programming language they were using. That time, I remember the developers was using PHP. It was WordPress or Joomla as a CMS. So that kind of things they were doing, and they were learning a lot of things. And being a manual tester, I was feeling that I'm not learning anything. So that was a biggest pain point for me. at that time. Also, I mean, for example, if we have a product and I have to do end to end, right? And, I mean, if we have a portal where I can search the product, for example, I search the mobile and I get some product and I just add into my cart. After adding into my cart, I can just go through the description, images, those things over there, and then I can just place an order. Then I can track the order, what is happening with my product. I can get those information. So it was for me like it was for me like very time consuming. Uh, we have to validate those things from the database. So log in into database manually, go into the tables, then search it by copy pasting the product ID, then match that price from database to the front end. So it was very time consuming for me. So these are the pain points that everyone has experienced if they are working in manual testing. I have experienced the same thing. And uh, the most difficult thing at that time was, I mean, companies projects are not very much investing on the testing. Like a developer was doing the testing by themselves, and we were having a very few number of tester. I mean, I was working in a team where I was the only QA. So we had a team of 10 to 12 people, and I was the only QA. So if we have anything, any issue came up, anything came up, everyone is calling, hey, can you test this? Can you do the regression? Can you test this? Can you test that? So I was busy every time, right? So I wanted something that can automatically execute all the basic scenario. I wanted something that can uh, run the test case during my night while I'm sleeping. So I was involved everywhere. Plus, if you are involved everywhere, obviously it might be a chance that you miss something, right? In calculation or from here and there, you can miss something. Plus, I have to maintain a lot of screenshots, files, documentation, right? So if I'm testing an application, I need to keep catching the screenshot. If I'm using window machine, then I can take the screenshot, paste into the Word document one by one, mention that this screenshot is for the login page, this screenshot is for the register page, this screen is for the product page, cart page, those things, right? So these were the pain points. I think everyone is having those kind of pain points. uh, for a individual, the biggest pain point is like it's a repetitive task and it is kind of boring. And that time we used to have a lot of manual tester, honestly. Since then things has been changed. uh, we At that time we were having software testing engineer, then a new concept came that is called automation testing engineer, then new things came. Nowadays we have SDET, software development engineer in test. So we have a lot of SDET, a lot of big companies has a role called SDET, where an SDET, I mean, a automation engineer or a tester should have all those skill set which a developer has, right? So these days, because technology has been changed a lot, things has been changed a lot, requirement has been changed a lot. So every project wants to save the time, wants to save the cost, wants to achieve the quality. They don't want to miss any defect. They don't want to uh, have any defect in production. So everyone need automation. So to overcome these pain points, we have automation. So I already talk about the pain point, and to overcome those pain points, we have the automation. And if I say automation, obviously it is fast, right? If you are navigating through a page, from login page to product page, you have to type. So if I don't have good typing speed, or if I have to submit the registration form, and registration form has 20 fields or 25 fields, and I don't have good typing speed, it's gonna take for me to 15 minutes or 20 minutes to fill the form, right? So I don't want to invest so much time. I need a machine, I need a code that can do for me. And obviously if machine is doing that, it would be the faster. So with the help of automation, we can achieve the things faster. If I'm saying faster, obviously we can do parallel things. I mean, if I'm doing manually, I can work on single browser. But if machine is doing the things, or automation script is doing the things, that could be same time in a different 2 or 3 browser, right? So if I have to test my application on 3 different browser, I can test through the automation at same time. Same time in Chrome, same time in Firefox, same time in Safari. That I can do. So I will save a lot of time, right? I will save a lot of time. So that is why we need automation. First thing. The other thing is, so if we are doing things in faster way, obviously we're gonna save a lot of cost as well, because if we're going to test the application in 3 days manually, and we are able to test that application through the automation in a day, we are saving two man hours, right? And 2 man hours is directly uh, give us a good cost reduction. So we need the automation. Other than that, obviously human can make a error. For example, we have a calculation, and calculation is very complex. So every time we have to do a lot of calculation. I remember when I was working for a project, e-commerce project, we have a sale, back to school sale, and we were offering discount, and due to the miscalculation, we sell the product as lowest cost, and company has a lot of loss. So if that things were automated, calculated through the programming, those things would have been caught before going to the product. So obviously through the automation, through the machine, there are a chance to have a very less error. So we need the automation. Plus, if you are doing same thing again and again, it's better to have the automation. Uh, we were having one more application where we are selling some product, and in US, Canada, or other region, products are available based on the zip code, even in India as well. So if we go to Flipkart, we see that if this project delivery is available into my pin code area or no, right? So we have to test the product availability across the US. So there was around 8,000 zip code that we have to validate. So manually it was not possible, right? So we did the automation, and we have tested those 8,000 zip code over the night. So that's why we need the automation. And so these are the basic things that is required. Why should we have the automation? Obviously, if we are using programs, then we can use those programs. So obviously it will have the reusability. I have developed an automation script or framework. That framework can be used with n number of people, right? So we have the reusability. So these are the basic things why we should need the automation, and everything's comes at this point, which is the last one, cost reduction. Everyone wants to have the quality product, which is you know developed, tested, and deployed with minimum cost, right? So that's why we need the automation. So as I told you, we would be talking about the Selenium, and we would be putting the comparison with other tools. People might have who are already working in testing, or in automation testing or manual testing, or have some basic idea. They can say that, hey, Selenium is also getting older now. We have some next generation tool available. So why did you not put those comparison here? So for those questions, I'll answer those questions in advance. So yes, it is true. Selenium is getting older. Generation is getting changed. So we have next generation tools available as well in market, and those tools are more faster as compared to Selenium, more stable, less flaky, right? And those required less maintenance. But because it is very early, and market share as compared to Selenium is not as that much. So we have tool called Cypress, which is based on next generation tool that has a lot of feature that is very fast. We have Playwright developed by Microsoft. Again, that is open source. We have WebDriver IO. We have Puppeteer. So we have X number of tools available. Those are next generation tool. But we're gonna talk about most famous tool, uh, and we're gonna put the comparison about those tools. So HPQTP, today we call it UFT. This is the oldest tool, and it is the creator of automation testing. So it it was developed by Mercury. Later, it was Mercury company was purchased by HP, so it became HPQTP. Now they have changed it to UFT. The tool name became UFT. So that is the oldest tool that we have, and it was having huge number of project. It was having huge number of market share, but for the period of time, things has been changed. The next tool is IBM RFT. It is obviously developed by the IBM. Then we have a tool called Test Complete, and this is also a commercial tool, and some company owns this. And then we have Selenium. So out of these four tools, Selenium is the only tool which is free of cost. You don't have to pay anything to anyone. For QTP, you have to pay to HP. For licenses, similarly, you have to pay to IBM, and for the test complete as well. So if we are able to do my work without paying to anyone, obviously I'm going to adopt that. Plus, uh, the advantage of Selenium is it supports a lot of programming language. So if I know the Java, I can do the automation using Selenium, but I cannot do the automation using QTP. I cannot uh, uh, do the automation using test complete, right? If we know C Sharp or Ruby, Python, some of the Programming languages are not mentioned here, which is JavaScript, TypeScript. So you can use Perl, Ruby, Python, Java, C Sharp, PHP, TypeScript, JavaScript, all the famous programming language you can use to do your automation, which is not there in the other tool. Some language are supported, like IBM supports Java and C Sharp, but not like JavaScript, Ruby, Perl, Python. Similarly, the test complete support a lot of language, but like Java is not supported. Other things are not supported, right? So we have the limitation. Limitation is like language limitation. Then uh, environment. If I talk about, so I can create a Selenium test on my MacBook. You can create your Selenium test on Ubuntu. You can other can create their Selenium test on Windows, right? So all the famous operating system it is supported by, but other tool doesn't support those operating system. Plus, let me see other comparison. If I say, uh, so like Selenium supports all the browser that are there, right? But these tools doesn't supports all the browsers. Some supports Chrome, Firefox only. Some doesn't support Chrome. So Selenium is the only tool which support the all the browsers. Plus, I mean, obviously, there are some tools which are developed by some companies. So if a company has developed something, so I mean, they have put it the develop the product in such a way that uh, a user will not require any kind of coding skill and all. But for Selenium, we need a programming language where we're gonna do everything through the programming. So nothing is inbuilt, nothing is already developed. So that could be the disadvantage. But if we are learning a programming language and we are able to use those knowledge in doing the automation, then obviously it's a good learning curve for us. So again, the same thing. If we talk about the advantage of Selenium, then obviously it comes with no licensing cost. It is free. You can run it on multiple operating system, multiple browser, multiple programming language you can use. Uh, Multiple frameworks you can develop, web-based automation testing. Plus, the best feature of this Selenium is, which is not mentioned here, and uh, is that it is scalable. I mean, it is something that can be integrated with a number of third-party tools. For example, uh, we have one application, and that application is working on the desktop web, mobile web, plus we have the Android application and iOS application. And our role is to have an automation that our role is to have one automation framework that can test the application in the desktop browser, in the mobile browser, that can test the app in Android mobile, that can test the app in iOS mobile. So we need a single tool, right? We need a single tool that can do all those things. Why we need single tool? Because obviously there could be any reason, but one reason is we cannot maintain different automation tool for different things. Like we cannot have one automation tool for browser, desktop browser, other for mobile browser, or other for Android app, other for iOS app, right? So we need something, a single solution that can do everything. So Selenium says that you can because I'm freeware, you can use my code, you can create your own things, or you can integrate with me with other tools. So for mobile automation, uh, uh, open source community or Selenium community itself has created a tool called APM that can integrate it with Selenium. So you can integrate Selenium with APM, and with that integration, you can do everything. I mean, you can do the automation on the desktop Chrome, mobile web. You can test with the help of APM. You can test the Android app, iOS app. So you will have a single framework. You will have a same script that would be running on different things, right? So that could be the best advantage of Selenium. But here in other tools also support mobile automation, native app automation. Some doesn't support. If you have to integrate some other third-party tool, for example, you have to integrate with robot libraries, some other libraries. So you can do those kind of integration, whatever comes with the Java. So you can do that as well. So if we talk about the component of Selenium, so we used to have 4 components in Selenium before 2012: IDE, RC, WebDriver, and Grid. But now this Grid is no more, and basically Grid and WebDriver was merged. So we have 3 components only. One is the IDE, and the second one is, you can call it, WebDriver, with, and the third one is the Grid, and they have different purpose. Why these components are created, we have to understand that. So I'll just go back here and I'll just talk about quickly about the history of Selenium. So as I told you, HPQTP was the first tool that was developed to do the automation kind of things, and that was developed by Mercury. Mercury was the company who developed HPQTP. And when this product was developed, this was the latest and the first automation tool, officially first automation tool that can do the things, that can automate the things, but it comes with huge cost, right? So some other companies thought that we should create a similar product like QTP. So there was a company called ThoughtWorks. They said that I'm going to create product which can compete in the market with QTP. So they created RC. So this was the first component created by the ThoughtWorks. But RC was having a number of issues, and RC was, if you compare RC with the QTP, it was 30% or 40% only of the QTP. So I mean, a lot of problems were there. So it was decided that we are not going to have it commercial. We're gonna put in open source community so other people also can give the feedback and we can enhance that. Then this IDE was developed by some Japanese developer to just do his repetitive task. The name of the developer was Kasatani. He was the Japanese developer. Then this WebDriver was developed in the Google. There was an engineer called Williamson who was working on also on the same idea. So that he developed this WebDriver, and he just developed this WebDriver based on the RC, and he tried to remove the problems that RC was having. So he just developed WebDriver, uh, uh, and then obviously to do the parallel testing, we were not having anything. So this grid was developed. Then later it was decided that we should create a community. We should come in a single forum. We should come in an umbrella where we can work together and develop something that can compete in the market, and that can give the competition to the QTP. So those components are created. Then later they decided not to continue with RC. So we have IDE, WebDriver, and Grid. So they have different purpose. So Selenium IDE has record and replay capability. You can record your test, you can replay your test. It has graphical user interface. If you want to do your automation Selenium IDE using Selenium IDE, you don't have to know any programming language. Basically, everything is there. You just record it and run it. Uh, but Selenium WebDriver comes with a different purpose. For big and complex project, this IDE was not useful. It was having some issues where we have a lot of test cases, a lot of things. I mean, a lot of things means we have database where we're gonna validate through the database. We're gonna generate a number of reports. We're gonna create logs. We're gonna create a fancy reporting. We're gonna have the huge data put it in Excel sheet. So those kind of projects IDE was not able to handle. So we have WebDriver which can do all the things, but that cannot do the parallel thing. I mean, we cannot uh, we cannot connect multiple machine and run the same test cases on different machine at same time. So grid is there. So grid is basically developed for the parallel testing. Although we can achieve the parallel testing in WebDriver as well using some unit testing framework called TestNG, but that is not the core feature of Selenium, right? So that was the reason. So different reason, there was the different reason to create different components, but they came under one umbrella that is called Selenium. So if I say Selenium is not a tool, it's a family, it's an umbrella which has a number of components. So people has misunderstanding that Selenium is a tool. No, Selenium is not a tool. Selenium is a group. It's a community. It's a community of people who are working on open source tool, and those tools are WebDriver, Grid, or ID, right? So we usually have the uh, confusion. So the benefit, if we talk about, so here benefits are kept like for all the components that we have. Obviously, the benefit is free of cost. I mean, you don't have to pay anything. You can do automation in multiple Windows, uh, Windows machine, Mac, Linux, Unix, all those things. If you know any programming language, you can do the automation. For all the browser, you can do the automation. And it is faster as compared to these tools, but it is not faster as compared to the next generation tool, as I told you, like Playwright, Cypress, WebDriver IO. So that is one thing, the automation using Selenium. The other thing is the API testing. So obviously, uh, so basically we have two layers in an application. One is the, basically we have three layers, I would say. One is the database layer, another one is API layer, and the third layer is the UI layer. So if you just type anything in the Google, for example, if you type anything like www.facebook.com in Google, so what happens? Uh, Google sends a request to Facebook server that someone is calling you, and it hits the Facebook server, and Facebook server responds, and that response is displayed on the browser in form of GUI, right? So I mean, API is the layer which is happening in the background, and sometimes we call it web services, sometimes we call it API. So uh, web service is the subset of API. API could be anything, like API could be any web service, API could be any kind of format like .html, image, .javascript, .css. So anything could be the API, right? So we have to do, if we are going into the market and we are saying that, hey, I'm SDET, I'm automation engineer, or I'm full stack automation engineer. So it is expected that you are hands-on in manual testing, you are hands-on in automation, uh, GUI automation, you are hands-on in GUI automation using any tool, one tool, two tool, and you are hands-on in doing the automation using API as well. So you should be able to do the API automation. So here, like I can give you the multiple example of API these days. For example, you have to book a flight from Delhi to Mumbai or Delhi to New York or Vancouver or anything, and you go to some portal, flight booking portal. For example, if you go to Goibibo or booking.com or anything, and you type the source and destination, right? And you hit the server, you click on search by putting the dates and all, right? So what is happening? So for example, we have, I'm trying to book a flight from Delhi to Toronto or Delhi to New York. So whatever the airlines we have, those airlines has created their APIs, and those APIs are given to the portals, and those portals are using those API. And with the help of those APIs, the server is being hit, and it has the request that I need the list of the flights that are operational on this day. So what is happening with the help of this request, we have the response, and that response is displayed on the screen that you have Air India flight, two Air India flight, one Air Canada flight, one other flight. So you get those information, and how it is happening? It is happening through the API. It is happening through the API. So API layer is also very critical to test, and that's something that we should test a lot. And nowadays, if we are doing the automation, and if you are talking about the right automation, automation which is cost saving and automation which is effective, so we just consider all these three layers like database, API, and GUI. So we start testing the things from the uh, bottom layer, which is database. Then we focus on the API. So because API are faster, and because UI takes time to render, to display, to load, but APIs are fast. So APIs are fast. You are getting quick requests and responses. Then obviously your automation gonna be very fast. And if you are testing, if you are finding the defect problems at API layer, it will save, and it is not letting go to the things in the GUI. So it is always advised that we should have the API automation first, then we should go on to the GUI. And whatever could not be tested through the API, that could be automated or tested through the GUI. So that's why API testing is required, and it has a lot of benefit. If you compare API automation with GUI automation, so it has a lot of benefit. First thing is you're gonna catch the defect earlier in API. The second thing is APIs are faster, so your test will be very quick. You will have the quick results. Maintenance is very less in the API test because GUI has a lot of things like HTML, CSS, JavaScripts, right? And those pages are getting changed, locators are getting changed. You have to keep things maintained, so it requires a lot of maintenance. As com but in API, you don't have to do much maintenance, right? Only data, test data things you have to maintain. And but in GUI, you have to do a lot of maintenance, like test data, objects, flow. If new flow got introduced, you have to create the things. Then you have to put in between a lot of weights, synchronization you have to handle, right? So but in API you don't have to do those things, so it has a lot of advantage. So if you are doing the things faster, obviously you're gonna save a lot of cost, and everything is is depend on the cost. If you are saving the cost, giving the benefit of the automation, obviously the project gonna be grow. So that is API testing, and we have thousands of tools available for API testing. But in DevLabs in SDET program, we talk about Postman and Rest Assured with Java. So why we talk about Postman and Rest Assured with Java? Because we have designed learning path, or we have designed the things in such a way that you don't have to learn a lot of programming language. Obviously, Java is itself a huge programming language. I'm not talking about the complete Java, I'm talking about the Java required for the automation. So we pick one programming language, which is obviously very famous, uh, very uh, mature, easy, and that can do a number of things. That can do UI automation, API automation, a number of things, development. So we're gonna have the API testing using Postman. So in Postman, you don't need any programming language, but if you want, you can use JavaScript, but you can do those things manually. Then similarly, we have Rest Assured. So Rest Assured is again a tool, library developed in Java for API automation. So we're gonna talk. We discuss about those things in our SDET sessions. Rest assured with Java. So we learn Java, then we learn Selenium. So same Java we use in Selenium, the same Java we use in Rest Assured. Now the question came, why Java? Why should we learn Java only, not Python, not Perl, Ruby, C Sharp? So I mean, if you compare, every programming language has some advantage and some disadvantage, obviously. If you compare Java with Python, so someone will not agree with me, and someone will agree that someone will say that, hey, Python is the easiest language, right? Uh, Among all the programming language, someone feel that difficult. So here the overall things are put it. So why we should adopt Java? Because it is more close to C++. So why it became easy for us? Because we have learned C, C++ in our academics, right? And it's easy for us to learn Java because the syntax, concept, classes, object-oriented things is based on the C++. So it's easy for us because we have already here and there studied about C++. So it is easy for us, easy to read, learn, and write. Obviously, it is free of cost. A lot of libraries are there. I mean, if you have to, if you have to handle Word document, if you have to handle the Excel sheets, so libraries are there. If you have to send the email library is there. If you have to do anything, all the libraries are there. So it is the huge library support are there. So you can do all the things that you want for your project, and you can get those libraries available on the internet, and those libraries are also free of cost. As I told you, the data structure that is being used in Java is similar to the data structure that you have used in C or C++. So it's easy to learn. Obviously, it is pure object-oriented programming language. So everything is based on class, object, and all. So that's why we used to learn. Obviously, it is portable and interactive. You can develop your code in one machine and run in a number of machines. That's why we should use Java. Plus you can do a lot of things writing less code. So for example, if you have to do things, already developed method are there. For example, I have to reverse as string. Method is there, string dot reverse. It will reverse your string, right? So methods are there, arrays methods are there, string methods are there. So n number of methods are already there. You have to use that, and you will feel a lot of good documentation is there. A lot of good support is there. I mean, if you type something, some problem in the Google, you will get n number of solution, right? As compared to other programming language. So that's why we should learn the Java. Obviously, you can say that, hey, Python is more powerful, Python is more easy. I'll agree with you, but overall, I feel that for a person who has come from C++ background, he or she will find that Java is more easy. All right, so this was the thing that we wanted to discuss. Now we're going to talk about the demo. So I am going to stop it. I'm going to, let me see. I'm going to just minimize this. Then we're going to talk about the demo part. So today I'm going to show you a few things like for Selenium automation, obviously you need few things. First thing you need the Java, right? So you can go and install the Java. How you can go and install the Java into your machine? So basically, you can go into Google and type download JDK. So uh, currently we are having two latest version. One is JDK 17 or JDK 19. So you can adopt anything, JDK 17 or 19. You can install the Java by searching download the Java JDK into your machine. Then you can configure the Java into your machine. So configuration is different for Mac machine, configuration is different for Windows machine. For Windows user, what you have to do is uh, you can go into my computer, right click properties, advanced setting, and you can just type create the paths over there. So when you installed JDK, it will go into your program files. There would be a folder called Java. You can copy the path and paste there and go into terminal and just make sure that by typing Java hyphen version, if Java is properly installed into your machine or no. In Mac machine, we have different process to set up the Java basically. So you can set up the Java using either uh, .ssh profile or .bash profile, whatever the profile you are using into your Mac machine. So there are some steps where you can just put the path, and you can after putting the path you can verify like this Java hyphen version, and you can see this is the Java your machine has. The first thing is need Java onto your machine. Then the next thing you would be needing is you have to download the Eclipse. So you can go into Google and you can type Eclipse download, and it's not mandatory to use Eclipse only. You can use any IDE available in the market. I mean, we have uh, IntelliJ. You can use VS Code if you want, Visual Studio Code if you want. This is another IDE. You can use Eclipse, but for Selenium and Java, Eclipse is the right choice. I mean, especially for Java related thing, Eclipse is the right choice. So you can go into Eclipse and you can download the Eclipse for your machine. So if you are using Mac machine, you can download for Mac machine. If you are using for Windows machine, by default, this Eclipse has intelligence. It will redirect you. It identify that you are using Mac machine or Windows machine, so you can just download it. Once you download it, you install it, you will have the Eclipse like this. So here, if you see that this is the IDE that you have, and you can create the project here like this. So these number of projects we have. So you can create the project. So I have already created one project uh, where what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into amazon.com, and in amazon.com, I'm going to test a couple of things. First thing I want to test is I will just go here without login. I just want to search mobile, and after searching mobile, I will click on uh, not mobile. I'm gonna search laptop. So if I search laptop, from here I'm going to get some brand. I'm going to filter with the brand Asus. I'll click on this, or anything I can do, and I will see that how many I can calculate total number of product listed, or I can just go through one by one. So this could be one test case that we have. Plus, I want to see that what are the best selling products we have on Amazon. So what we can do is we can click on this all, and we can click on this best seller, right? From here we can see what are the best selling products Amazon has. So I can come here and then I can validate what are the best selling in the category of bags, what is the best selling in the category of video games, similarly in the uh, computer and accessories. So like this we can do. Then we can have one scenario where we're gonna register a user, right? And here gonna put some information, gonna click on here and there. So for that, what we have to do is obviously I'm going to use Selenium WebDriver. Uh, so we have Eclipse set up. Now what we can do is we can create some of the project. And how you can create the project, you can just go click new, and you can create the Java project. Also you can create the Maven project. So those who are not aware what is Maven, so Maven is basically a project management tool. So for example, for my automation, what I need is I need the so this is the official website of Selenium, selenium.dev. And has this website has everything that you need. So from download, you can see that the grid is here, different language bindings are there, Internet Explorer is there, all the things are there, right? So uh, so you can download the things from here. So this WebDriver comes as a jar file. So because WebDriver is a kind of library that is being developed in Java, and we have to use that library into our project. So that jar file is there. So if I'm not using Maven project, what will have? I need to download the jar, and I have to put that jar into a folder. Okay. And for example, I am using Java as a programming language. So I have to download this jar. I have downloaded this jar. I have to put this jar into some folder. Okay. I can put that jar into some folder. And today we have 4.9.0. For example, if Selenium has released new version, which is Selenium 5. So what I need to do is I need to come here and download again, and I have to replace it. So this is one jar. For a project, we need 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 jars. And this is for if I mean development is going on, a lot of new releases are coming, a lot of bug fixes are coming in the tool itself. So you don't want to manage these jar by yourself. You need a system which can manage those things for you. So Maven is the solution for that. So how we can do that? We can create a Maven project. We can create a Maven project. How we can create a Maven project? We can come here new, and we can say other. In other, we can click on this Maven project. We can say new, and here in new we can click on next. And here, by if you are creating the Maven project, then you have to tell that Maven has some styles. I mean, a lot of templates available. What kind of template want to you want to create? So basically, for Selenium automation, we used to create the template that is called uh, Apache style project or Apache Maven style project you need for Selenium automation. So if you see that it is retrieving some of the uh, template, once it is retrieved, it will display the list of the templates here. Then you can pick those list of the template. People pick different style, but usually the template is that we use that is called Apache Maven template, which is being used, right? So we can pick that template and click on next, next, and next, and we can create the project. Once project is created, the project will be created like this. For example, we have created this project like this. Now you can ask like where we gonna put those libraries, where we gonna put those jars, right? And what would be the advantage? So this Maven creates a file that is called pom.xml. In the pom.xml, you have to mention what all the jars you gonna use. So as I told you that I can put that this is the jar that I need. This is the Selenium jar that I need. So I show this was the jar that I have downloaded. So here if I'm using pom.xml, I don't need to download it. I can mention this thing. By default, automatically it will take care. It will download this version and it will put somewhere in your system. For example, if I send this code to you, what you have to do, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to download this jar. Once you set up your project and you say Maven clean, Maven compile, Maven install, it will automatically download this jar into your machine and it will keep using that. And tomorrow, if I feel that, hey, now I have to use Selenium 5. So what I can do is I can change it to here 500. I can change it to this, right? And what it will do, it will download this version 5 for me and it will do my task. So I can put all the jars over here. So right now I need this jar, which is the Selenium. The other jar I need is the TestNG jar. So what is this TestNG? TestNG. So Java has two unit testing framework. One is the JUnit, one other one is the TestNG. So it says that if you, I mean, it has a lot of advantage if you talk about using the unit testing framework. It provides a lot of annotation. It provides a lot of feature for your test automation that you can use. So we discuss in our sessions in detail. So here we can use these jar. For example, uh, I have to play with the uh, Excel sheets. So for Excel sheet, we have a library called Apache POI. We have a library called Apache POI. So this Apache POI library is developed by Apache to handle the Microsoft document like Excel, .xls file, Word, uh, PowerPoint, everything you can handle with this Apache POI. And it is again, so if you need the jar, you can get the jar from here. See, simple. What you have to do is this is the version and you can just use this Maven dependency. So you can copy this and you can put in here and it will automatically manage those jars and it will install those jars. You don't have to manage that one. So this is come Apache uh, pom.xml. So it manage the things for you. Now, as I told you, I'm using TestNG. So TestNG has some feature. Basically, the feature that we're going to use is the annotation. So we can use the annotation over here. And if we are developing the automation framework, we have to follow some coding standard, obviously. For automation, there are two code design pattern available, which is very famous. One is page object model, other one is the page factory. So we can pick anything. So here we are adopting page object model. And what is the page object model? So it has some rules to follow. Page object model says that whatever the operation you are performing on a page, you have to create the method for those operations. And whatever the actions operation you are performing on the pages, you have to create the pages for them. So if I'm following the page object pattern, so I will create the pages. So if you see here in under the SRC, I have created some pages, and these pages are, one is home page, register page, and search result page. So as I told you, this is our home page, and on this home page, whatever the operation I'm doing, for example, I'm clicking on this, I'm typing something and clicking on search, I'm clicking here. So this is I'm doing on the home page. So I have created one page called home page, and this home page has all the functions and the locators. So here I have created a function called click on all. So I have to click here. So I have created a function called click on all. So I have created that function, and here I am saying that driver dot find element, and this is the locator. This is the way you have to write in page object model, the by dot xpath. So I have created the xpath to locate this thing. So here I have put it that xpath, and I'm saying that I am going to click here. So if I call this method click on all, so what it's gonna do is it's gonna click on here. And where this method is created, this method is created in a class called home page. So as per the definition of page object model, we have to create the classes with the name of pages. So we have home page, so I have created a class called home page, and whatever the operation I'm doing on the page, I have to create the method. So I have created the method over here. One method is click on all. Then here if I click here, I need to click on the bestseller. So I have created another method called click on bestseller. So this is the method that I have created, click on bestseller. And I have to click on account list. So to register, I have to click here account list, and then I have to click here start here. So I have created method click on mouse hover to account list. So I'm going to mouse hover first, then I'm going to click on start here, right? So here mouse hover to account list, then click on start here. And for here I have created a method called enter product name. So this is the method called enter product name, and then click on search button. For example, I typed here laptop, so it will type here laptop, and I have to click here. So I have created the method on click. So whatever the operation I am performing on the home page, I will create the method for that. I'm just following the guideline definition of page object model. Similarly, on register page, so if I have clicked here, then I will navigate to the register page, and whatever the operation I am going to perform here, I mean typing your name, first and last name, typing your email ID, typing your password, click on continue button. So those things would be the part of register page. So here if you see enter your name, select country code, enter mobile number, that is there, and you can develop other method too. Similarly, on search result page, if you have searched something over here, for example, you search laptop, then you can click here, and here whatever the operation you're going to perform. So this is our search result page. So here I'm going to click on this or setting some range, so I can create the method called search result page. For example, now I have just created the method select asus. So here you can see the method is there. So I can create the pages, right, as per the definition of page object model. Now pages are created, we have created some base base class means it gonna have the utilize utility method, the method that we're gonna use a lot. So the wait method is created here. I want to wait during our click, I want to wait during our navigation. So I have created this wait method, and I can use this wait method into my test cases whenever it is required. Here I have created I have initialized the WebDriver, and that initialization I'm going to use in everywhere. Also, I'm going to use some Java concept as well. Like I have created one. So this comes with the test ng. This is the annotation that before test gonna run just before every test method, and after test gonna be run just after every test, right? So I have created this. This is the repetitive functions that we're gonna use. Initialization, tear down, we're gonna use. So we have put it in the test base. Now here we have the test cases. So if you see that there are some test cases that we have added. One test case is register account. So we can create the test case like the TC001 register account. So because as I told you, we're going to use Java. So here we are extending. Extending means we are using the inheritance concept. I'm extending this base class into this class, and whatever the driver definition, whatever the before method, after method is there, I'm going to use here. So I have used this extend, and I have created the annotation here method. Then I'm going to use another Java concept where I'm going to create the object of the class. So this is the class. Home page is a class where it is the part of the package called pages. I'm going to create the object. So this is how we can gonna create the object. So I'm going to create the object this page class. With the help of this object, I am going to call the methods available into this class. So we will learn how to invoke the methods available in a class. So by creating the objects, so we have created the objects of home page, register page, and with the help of those objects, I can call the method. So the order you call those method, the order they're gonna be executed. Similarly, we have created the uh, uh, test case, which is view based selling product. Similarly, I can create the objects. With the help of objects, I can call the methods, right? And because I told you I'm using testng, so we're gonna use testng runner, not Java runner. So testng provides one XML as well, where you can mention the test cases. So I have mentioned the test cases, that this is the suit name, Amazon is the suit name, and we have the test case name, and this test case is part of this class test case.tc. So this is the package name, and this is the test case name. So we can arrange our test case in this order. Also, we can control the execution of these test cases because we are running out of time as well. So I'm just not going to explain how to control the execution, but we can control the execution of our test cases from the file called .xml file, testng.xml file. So if you want to run it, you can run your test cases from here, run as testng suite. So all the test cases will be running as part of the suite. Test suite is the collection of test cases, as we know. If you don't want to run it from here, you can run it from pom.xml as well. So pom.xml, Maven says you can call any XML file from the pom.xml file. But for that, you have to use a plugin available in Maven. So there is a plugin available in Maven called Surefile plugin. So we can use that Surefile plugin to run our test, to call our testng.xml. So what we are doing, we are calling this testng.xml file into this one, and this will call this file, and this file have these test cases, then these test cases will be executed. So there are a number of ways to run these test cases. So what we can do is we can come here, we can say right click, or we can on project we can just right click. So there are a number of ways. So you can just say right click. Once you do right click, you can first say just clean everything. So you can say Maven clean. So you once you do Maven clean, it will clean the things for you. Now you can say run as. You can say Maven test. So once you say Maven test, this pom.xml will call testng.xml, and in testng.xml we have these test cases. Test case one is register product. So because we have defined in before test that we're gonna run in Chrome browser. So you can see tests will be executed one by one. So the first test case will be executed, then second test case will be executed, and third test case will be executed. So the first test case is, I guess it is register. So let's see. This is the register test case, yeah. So it's gonna click on register and it's gonna type first name, last name. I'm not going to fill all the form. I'm just going to fill few details over there. So you can see that those details are filled. Now the second test case, you can see that which test case is also running. So the second test case would be find the best selling product. So it's gonna click on this all, then it's gonna click on the view best selling product. So so it will wait until page is not getting loaded. So once page is loaded, it will click on all. So it has click on all. Then it will click on best selling product. And once best selling product is clicked, you can see those best selling products are there, right? So after that, the third test case will be running. So it is still loading. That's why the test case is not completed. Once loading is complete, it will start the third test case. So it has started the third test case. So if you see, the third test case would be searching the product and put the filter over there. So if you can see that browser is launched here, it will type something after page is loaded properly. So until unless it is getting loaded, it's not going to type anything. So it has typed laptop, then it gonna once laptop is typed, it's gonna select the Asus. You can select anything based on your test case requirement. So if you see that three test cases we ran, three got passed. No, nothing is there. If you refresh the page, default kind of report is also generated. So if you see that uh, in target, you can see uh, reports. Then in test output also you can see the reports. If you click on index.html, you can see the test ng report over here. You can see the number of test cases that we have executed, uh, the number of things that we have executed. So those kind of reports you can see. So we are running out of time as well. I'll just pause myself. I'll open for Q&A session. Any question from anyone? We can talk about that.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can we automate the mobile application by using Selenium?
For mobile application, we have a separate automation tool that is based on the Selenium only. So because it is using everything which comes on which it is developed on top of Selenium. So if you don't know the Selenium, you cannot know this tool. But if you know the Selenium, it's very easy because you have to know few of the functions libraries to use it. So you can use that tool, APM tool, which is the most famous and most popular. And if you see the market share of this tool, so you will find that 80% automation is mobile automation is doing using this APM, and it is based on the Selenium only. Yeah. Hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Any other question anyone wants to ask, wants to discuss? Not about this webinar, maybe we can discuss about automation overall, if you wanted to discuss.
Ayaz, we have a query over the chat. Can you please go through it?
Okay, let me see. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, let's see.
The last one from Prachi.
If possible, can we go over the page factory framework? Yes, we can go with the page factory framework as well. In other webinar, I guess, but I'll just quickly go through. So the basic difference with the page object model and page factory is the page factory is just modification or enhancement of the page object model. So in page object model, the way we write the locator, so we just say that by.xpath and we don't put any tagging. But in page factory, we just put some tags over here. So the only difference would be the way you are locating the element. So in page factory, the elements are located first, then function is getting called. But in page object model, we call the function first and we see whatever the locators are getting called. So the only thing's gonna be over here, the way you're gonna write your uh, XPath, and it will have some @annotation and that you're gonna use. For example, I'm using your name directly over here into this function, right? So in another webinar, maybe we can discuss that kind of framework from the scratch. All right. All right. If not wrong, topic of design automation framework, what seems that topic is automation with Java. The use of testng is to execute the test case. The use of testng is to execute the test suite. Yeah. So every programming language comes with a unit testing framework. I'm not talking about the Java. If you talk about the JavaScript, even JavaScript comes with a number of unit testing framework, and those unit testing framework provides you for basically some annotations that is being used to have the things for you. So Java also have two kind of unit testing framework. One is JUnit, another one is this TestNG. So for automation, we're gonna use annotations. So we have n number of annotation in available in the JUnit and TestNG, and those annotation we can use. So in our sessions, we discuss in detail about the annotation like @before, @test, suit, before method, after method, data provider that we have, the order that we can pass in the test. Like over here, you can put the uh, priority. You can do a lot of things. If you are taking the data from Excel sheet, you can hold that data using data provider. So that is the part of unit testing framework, and that unit testing framework is not developed for the tester. It is being used for the developer as well when they do write the unit test in for the code. So yeah, that we can talk about that as well. uh, if required here, is Cucumber more useful or POM? Is Cucumber more useful or POM? So uh, both are different thing. uh, uh, basically POM is a code design pattern, how you're gonna write the code, and Cucumber is different framework that works on different kind of things, like where we're gonna use Jerkin language. So if the if your project is running in the mode of Cucumber and you are getting the requirement as part as feature file, right? And they are using Jerkin given when and then it is advised to use Cucumber so that you can directly use the Jerkin language and uh, create your feature file and use those feature files in your Cucumber framework, and you can use that. But if requirement is not coming as part of feature file, then it is not advised to use Cucumber, because then you have to create a lot of feature file, and creating those feature file is for automation QA is very hectic. So it is advised to use non-Cucumber based framework, page object based or keyword driven hybrid, or any kind of framework. You can adopt page object pattern, page factory pattern, whatever the pattern you feel. But the page object pattern is the most adopted code design pattern, not in Selenium, in other tool like in Cypress, Playwright, JavaScript based, everywhere. And there are some drawback of page factory. That's why, so we can talk in another webinar where if we have to discuss about how we're gonna design the page object model or page factory. So yeah, hope I have answered your questions. All right. Can we use Selenium for negative test cases? Yes, you can use Selenium for negative test cases, but in automation, it is advised not to do a lot of negative test cases, because you don't have the limit to create the negative test cases. You can create a number of negative test cases, and then it gonna be a pain when you have to maintain them, right? So for example, if you are testing a login form, you can create 5 positive test cases and 100 negative test cases, right? So when anything change, locator change, something change, you have to maintain those things, and maintenance is the pain point for an automation framework. So we should write a framework which requires less maintenance. So that's the reason we should avoid. We can have the few negative test cases, but not more test cases. Thanks. All right. So if no other question, we are good to wrap this call. Thanks everyone for your time. It was great discussing with you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. Bye bye.